Hello everybody, it's midnight again. I'm this time here with my husband. We doing like an eating session, and we gonna do a game or two. It's who knows who best. You can introduce yourself to people.
Hey, hello. I'm D'Artagnan. I'm doing this live with my wife. She forced me to do it, y'all. Let you know, she forced me to do it.
He act like he don't want to do it.
She forced me to. But since I'm here, might as well get with the program and let's get this whole session started.
Okay, so we eating. What we want to talk about? First relationship.
You want to study?
How are we in our marriage? Where you at with it?
Sit on my.
Our marriage is good
It's not that serious.
so far.
So far?
Yeah, it's good so far.
You said so far like it's not gonna be.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that's where we're at right now. I'm not saying like it's gonna be bad later on, but you know, we're taking it one step at a time. That's all you can do.
Okay, what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to get married or jump into a relationship real quick?
Get a chance to really know the person before you jump into the relationship. That's the number one thing. You should try to know a person. Don't just get into a relationship because of the way you feel at the moment. Because the way you feel at the moment might change. And I think a lot of people mess up because, they feel these butterflies and these feelings. But feelings change over time. You get a person say that they like you one moment, and then the next moment they don't like you no more. So, make sure it's not just about how you feel at the moment. That you're really going to be committed and dedicated to the person. So otherwise, you're wasting your time. And you're wasting that person's time, too.
So what do you think is the biggest problem and the reason why people don't have healthy, successful relationships?
So, mainly because somebody in the relationship is selfish. Selfishness destroys pretty much every relationship. Somebody is either doing a little too much or they're doing not enough. And that's kind of why mainly most relationships are destroyed. Because someone in that relationship is selfish.
That's a good point.
You are an animal.
You have anything for me?
I remember the last time you did it twice in one night.
Would you like to ask me what I think about relationships, or?
What do you think should be the centerpiece of the relationship? It has to be a centerpiece to keep it glued.
Oh, I think like the communication should be like the centerpiece. The communication of it all and understanding of the person. Communication is big to me because if you don't communicate with your significant other, then you're not going to get nowhere. You're never going to talk. You're going to be distant from each other. Like, if you aren't already distant, you're going to be super distant if you're not communicating with each other. I think that's big. What you think?
Communication is good, but that's one of the first things that a lot of people say. It's communication.
But it is. It's true because
it's
if you're not communicating with them, how can you have an understanding with somebody who you're not talking to? If
True.
they're not talking to you and they're completely mute to you, you can't read their mind.
That's true. But I think it's different ways to communicate. So when you say communicate, it shouldn't just be just verbal. I think a lot of communication is also nonverbal. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. We always talk about
Right, that means you have to be able to pay attention to them.
Yep. But at the same time, I think that it make things more deep. I'll put it like this. Sometimes you might meet somebody and you might be talking to them and you might be talking to a brick wall. So if you're talking to a brick wall, that's pretty much a big waste of time. But I think, to me, this is just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion about what this. I think one of the biggest centerpieces in most cases, for people, for me at least, is the biggest centerpiece is to actually God actually helping two people and bringing those two people together. Because you can communicate all day long, and it also depends on what type of communication. Because communication, people communicate different ways. You can communicate in a nice way, and then you can also communicate in having a two major argument. You're communicating, but you're arguing. So that situation gets nowhere. So just me personally, I think one of the biggest things is number one, trying to, for me basically being a Christian, I think it's mainly just trying to keep God in the center of it. Now, that
Well,
doesn't
of course,
mean
that's number one. Of course,
Yeah.
I mean, most people who marry got to go before God anyway.
Yeah.
And do vows. So
Yeah.
you're not just vowing to your partner,
Yeah.
but you're going before God making it.
Yeah,
vows.
and I think that's the core piece that a lot of people don't say. They're they say love, they say communication,
A lot
they
of
say
people
all this
say
stuff,
that.
and I think that it's true, but I think that it's just a little deeper and it's a little more than just that stuff. Now, when it comes to love, you got to be able to give yourself, basically to your partner, to the point that you don't care for yourself, that you care about them, basically almost more than yourself. And I don't think that that's taught enough about. You want to get in a relationship, but the question is, are you willing to die for your partner? And if you're not willing to die for your partner, you're probably not ready.
You willing to die for me?
Yeah, I have to. I'm bound to. I have to. I have no choice. I got no choice. I made a commitment to God that I have to.
Yeah. I guess I have to too. Huh?
No matter if feelings, no matter how I feel, and that's basically what a relationship, a real relationship, when you really truly love somebody or care for somebody, that's what you have to do. Now, another thing that people might not want to hear, but it's the truth. You can't just base your relationship just on love alone. Love alone is not going to carry your relationship, but a lot of people think so, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people end up in the situation that they're in, because a lot of people get divorced or they break up and they say, I still love them, but I can't stand them. Well, that's kind of almost a contradiction in a sense, because you love this person but you can't stand them. Real love is going to eventually draw you together. Now, yes, you're going to get on that person's nerves. There are going to be some times where you're not going to agree. But you got to remember, a relationship, and this is one of my favorite things to say, is a relationship is a journey. You have to remember, that's really all it is. It's a journey between two people or a group of people. And it's up to you guys as two people or a group of people to work that out. Basically in any type of journey, you're going to have situations. And you have to do your best and talk with your partner or with that group to figure out what to do within that situation. It don't matter what the type of relationship. It can be husband and wife relationship. It can be mother and father, friendship, teachers, anything, any type of relationship. When you're dealing with people, it is a journey. Now, some people in that journey are going to be temporary, and some people in that journey are going to be permanent. But you need to kind of learn who might be permanent in your life and who might be temporary. One of the things that people have is that sometimes people are trying to keep temporary people in their life permanently. And that's one of the reasons also, I think that's why a lot of relationships end in disaster. Sometimes God sends you people or puts you in a situation where you have to deal with a person. But that person is
not
only
for you, though.
Yeah, that person is not for you. That person is only going to be for that temporary situation or at that moment.
Right. Teaching you something. That's it.
That's one thing. Also, on the flip side, and I think sometimes this is not mentioned enough, sometimes even the devil sends people.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes in a lot of relationships, especially, this is going to make a lot of people mad when I say this, but especially with a lot of women, the devil sometimes sends some of these guys to you and you fall for them very quickly.
Vice versa, though.
And vice versa.
For men too.
And vice versa.
Vice versa.
A lot of guys go for certain women that are just not good. The devil actually sends these people. They might look nice, they might smell nice and all this stuff. They might have all the things that you want, but they actually are sent to destroy you. Mm-hmm. And that's the number one thing that you have to realize. Some people are sent in your life by the devil to destroy you.
But I think everybody had that kind of, or most of us have experienced that before, because before most of us was in a place where we were happy with someone in a relationship, you probably been down multiple roads with somebody who fits that description. You know, someone who was basically very toxic to your life,
Yeah.
and it wasn't for you. It was probably for us to go through that, because we don't be thinking like that when we going through it. But after it's done with, and we actually see what we've been through with people who was not made for us, we be like, I'm glad that we went through that, because now we got a better sense of self-worth and what we want from somebody and what we're not tolerating from somebody. So I believe everybody then went through that period of time when you made a poor decision of keeping somebody who you know means you know good in your life. Everybody done it.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody have been there before. You know what I'm saying? And it don't have to always be a person that you were dating. It could be anybody, family, friends, or whatever. Whomever the person may have been in your life, whom you kept around, and you knew it wasn't no good for you.
Yeah, and my thing too is certain people you just have to cut them off completely. Especially if it's this is just my personal opinion, but it might be that woman or that man that you like, that you really, really, truly like, and they know that you like them, but they're not really trying to give you the time of day.
They just using
They're
you.
using you. So those people, you should automatically cut them off.
But it ain't easy. Yeah,
You know, and
but
it's
that's
not
easy for people. That's easy for us to say, because we both been there before.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy for neither one of us.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
it wasn't
saying,
easy.
it's not.
It's not easy. Yeah.
That's why I don't really judge a lot of women or nobody when they talk about their personal relationship, when they talk about somebody who they're struggling with dealing with on a personal level, when they can't let them go. And a lot of people may call them or label them stupid. But if you're going to call somebody else stupid, then that means that's damn near half of us women, because we've all been in a position to where we've been with a no good man who we knew wasn't no good for us. We knew we were doing more. We knew we were the ones reaching out more. We knew we were the ones more involved, and this person was not. Period.
Yeah, but I think also that whole thing is two part. Number one, some people might just, even though you're in that situation, sometimes God also puts people in there to warn you. Even though you might not be ready for the warning, He sends some people to warn you. Now, the person that warns you can see something that you don't see, because sometimes we're in relationships that we don't see the destruction ahead. And sometimes God puts people that either been in a situation.
But still, it's somebody that would be like somebody telling somebody that would be like me telling my girlfriend, who I know she's dating this guy, and I know he's not no good for her, but I'm in her life warning her of her destruction of what I see before her going through with this relationship with this guy. It's up to her to listen. At the end of the day, it's up to that person to take actually take the final step, no matter who God placed in your life when you're dealing with somebody like that. When you're dealing with somebody like that in your life, don't matter who God placed in your life, telling you all the good things, what you should be doing. But if that person ain't ready, because everything has to do with you and the choices you make. We don't have to go through these things with these men. These men don't have to go through these things with these women. You can choose to say no, and you can choose to walk away freely. But if you feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, no matter who God sends before you, if you mentally ain't ready to leave that person alone, a person can tell you this over and over and over again. And that's why so many people still are going through it now. You have to be really, really ready to do that when anything you do in life. With any choice you make in life, it has to come through you. And it has to be something that you want to do. I could say, girl, he's no good. He's a dog. I could say, girl, no, you need somebody better. You need this and that. I could say that to a woman all day long. But if that woman really don't believe that she's capable and worthy of more than what she has beside her, she's gonna always get what it is she has. You have to believe that you want more, and you have to believe that you are worth more. And when more of us women start thinking like when we believe we're worth more and we're not going to be settling for less, because some people just want to be with somebody just because they don't want to be lonely. And you know that the person is garbage out the gate. But you just don't want to be lonely, so you're going to claim somebody just to be able to say that you have somebody. But still, at the end of the day, men gonna have to make the decisions to leave these no good women alone. Women gonna have to make the decision to leave these no good men alone. I don't care how many times somebody tell it to you. Your mama could be telling this to you. Your best friends could be telling this to you. Your sisters could be telling this to you. Your pastor could be telling you good things. But if the individual themselves ain't willing to look inside themselves to find out that they want better, they gonna constantly go through it, because we don't have to go through stuff like that. We went through that because of the choices we decided to make. That's what happened. Nobody have to be in no toxic relationships. Nobody. If you choose to walk away, you don't have to be in nothing toxic. Nothing at all. So that's up to the individual. The individual has to be like, enough is enough. Okay? That's just like with battered women and battered men. Do you think that these battered women, you think that some of these battered women wake up every day wanting a man putting their hands on them every day? They looking for this? No, they not. I mean, it's kind of different with them because some of them are afraid to leave due to the consequences that they're thinking about. But still, you still have opportunity to leave. You don't have to be in that kind of situation. You don't have to be in a toxic situation. You don't have to be in no situation. You can remove yourself from any situation. It's your choice. You don't have to do that. I don't care who's before you. I've had people giving me sane advice when I was dealing with the wrong people in my life at one point. I had people in my life who was giving me the right things and right advice. But did I take it? No. Because I still chose to deal with that kind of a person. And it seemed like once you deal with that kind of a person, you almost have a cycle going if you don't know how to break the cycle. It's almost like you meet the same kind of men. You know what I'm saying? Until you learn to actually say to yourself, I'm not having this anymore. I'm not taking this kind of a man anymore. I tend to meet the same type of man repeatedly over with the same kind of no good characteristics. So when I said enough is enough for me, I wasn't having that kind of man in my life no more. I made the decision and I said no. So a lot of women can make the decision and say no.
And I do agree with my wife on that. At the same time, just like I said, you know, the devil sometimes can feed and kind of feel what you like. So he's gonna package himself to be that particular package. And men and women, we all kind of have the quote unquote ideal husband or a ideal wife, you know. And sometimes we get that, but then it be other baggage that we don't want added on to that. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. You end up getting a guy that you think that's, you know, the nicest or handsomest guy, and guys get some of the women that might be the prettiest woman or whatever, but then they have the other baggage where they might cheat on you, they might beat you. I mean, they're basically the package that you want, but it's also some things that you don't want. And the devil is really good at wrapping himself.
Yeah, but what is
into that.
What is classified as the ideal man or ideal wife?
Well,
people need to get that out your mind if you still walking around with that mentality, because a lot of people probably already been pushed away some good folks that was meant to be in your whole life because you looking. Listen, I've been over the categorizing a man. Like, oh, I don't date a man unless they light skinned, or oh, I don't date a man unless he has this, or oh, I can't date a man unless he has that, or I can't date a man if he ain't got this. Like, that's so high schoolish to me. I mean, I think that that's real immature. So if it's grown women and men still out here categorizing people, it's probably no wonder why you ain't really got nobody, because people don't look at that nowadays when they looking to date folks. That's not what you should be looking at anyway. I feel like a person's characteristics and personality should speak. I don't care what they look like, because they might look pretty, but they ugly in the inside. You know what I'm saying? They very ugly. Their intentions is ugly, and it's nothing pretty about that. So if people out here still categorizing people, and that's how you actually move when you're looking to be finding a soulmate, you're probably not going to ever find what you're looking for, because some of the good people that you didn't actually pass by, who had good characteristics and good morals, good values, good personality, good heart, they gone. And once people find those kind of people, some people gonna find them and hold on to them, because it's hard to find. So they gonna hold on to them.
And another thing too, I want to piggyback off what my wife just said. A lot of women and men as well, y'all put the wrong people in the friend zone. Sometimes the person that's in the friend zone is probably the person that you should be with. But you kick that person, that man or that woman or whoever, into the friend zone, and then you marry the person, or you get with the person that you shouldn't be with.
Well,
at times, sometimes. I'm not saying all the time.
I gotta piggyback off of that.
Sometimes.
Because it's okay to do that, because I did that with him, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you guys, because I feel like when God has somebody for you, whether that person is a friend to you at that time, if God has designed that individual for you, that individual is going to come back to you in some kind of form. God is going to make it happen. He's going to make that happen. Because sometimes we don't see things clear at a point in time, and timing is everything. Because he was in the friend zone. At one point,
I got out of it.
He was in the friend zone. He was in the friend zone. So it's not that, oh, I'm pushing him away. No, I kept him in the friend zone. I could have pushed him away and said I just wasn't interested in that kind of a man, because to me he was a different man. He was the opposite man that I was used to. I could have said, oh, I don't feel comfortable. I think that you are, basically pretending to be something that I'm not used to, so I'm not going to even waste my time. But I seen his characteristics and everything like that, so I kept him in the friend zone. I kept him in the friend zone because he still had decent characteristics about him. Even though at the time I didn't see myself willing to date him at that time. But it's okay to keep somebody in the friend zone and be safe. Because like I said, when God has somebody for you, that person is going to be for you. So that person is going to come back around, and he's going to put y'all together. That's going to be God. Because that's basically what he did here. The timing wasn't right for me. When we first met and we were in our 20s, I was doing my own thing. I was doing my own thing. And I feel like this guy is, man, a gentleman. I seen all the good things in him. But then I was so used to the opposite kind of a man. And so I didn't really know how to believe that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of believed that he was too good for me. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not going to date him because I don't want nobody to get hurt. But I'll keep him as a friend. And so that's what I did. And maybe even then at that moment, God said that he was supposed to be my soulmate, but I didn't see it. That's just the thing about it. I didn't know that. But time has a way of playing out. Because I'm glad that we had that break in between us. Because I probably would have pushed him out if he was around me at a time where I was going through the most darkest times in my life. Because I had lost my mom. My mind was not right. And it was dark all up in there. My head wasn't on headstrong. And so it wasn't meant for him to be in my life at that time. Because I probably would have shut him out. I mean, I would have pushed him probably clean out, I had to get my stuff together first. I had to get my head right. I had to make sure that I can go through and fight my demons off me. I had to make sure that I could go through that. So that's another good thing that I'm glad that God did. So he brought him back in perfect timing. He brought him back around in just the perfect timing. It's just, I believe certain times and times of our lives, certain people may not want to be around, or certain people should not be around, because it just might destroy a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And it would have destroyed a good thing just because of the mindset that I had, or the mindset that I was in. It would have destroyed me and his relationship as a friend. So he knew what he was doing, and like I said, he had him for me. He knew that he had this man for me when we first met, and he brought him back to me. That's simple as what he did. That's what he did.
I think another thing too is we also should also pray for God to actually show us or you know or give us a soulmate. I think some people are not doing that. I think what we do we sometimes fell ourselves short just getting with anybody because you don't want to be by yourself. And yes, it's true. My wife is right. Sometimes